Pokemon can be good for many different reasons. Sometimes, Pokemon are good because of a great type combination, offering important immunities or resistances against common foes. But sometimes Pokemon have terrible type combinations, with multiple damning weaknesses, but are still viable in spite of this. If your other traits, like your stats, ability, or moveset options can offset your poor typing enough, sometimes you can still function competitively. And in these cases, a Pokemon's exploitable type combination is a way to give them a weakness and keep them balanced. Let's take a look at 3 examples of Pokemon that are great choices in competitive, despite their terrible typing. But first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to ensure that enough horsepower is transferred to Makago for his upcoming battle in the Horse Council Civil War. Every new subscriber on this video will grant Makago 1 point of horsepower. Thank you. Celebi is one of the best Pokemon in Gen 3OU. With a fantastic base 100 stat distribution across the board, it can fill multiple roles, offensive, defensive, and fit on almost every kind of team. Celebi has a fantastic move pool too, with the instant healing of Recover, the much coveted Leech Seed, which makes guaranteed safe progress against the enemy and even heals up your team a little bit. With Calm Mind and Baton Pass, you can power up special attackers on your team and grant them your boosts, and the same can be done with Swords Dance. And the ability Natural Cure is also excellent, granting Celebi a form of counterplay against status moves. So what is Celebi doing in this video then? Is its type combination that bad? The Grass part of Celebi's typing is mostly good, and it complements water types well. Water operates as a nice physically defensive type in this generation, and Grass complements water, covering its weaknesses. But it's that dual Psychic type that doesn't provide too much in the way of benefits and puts a big target on Celebi's back against a lot of common things. Because of this Psychic typing, Celebi is ×4 weak to Bug, making it vulnerable to Dugtrio. Dugtrio can easily fit Hidden Power Bug on its set and trap and eliminate Celebi with this move. Because of Celebi's Bug weakness, it often has to invest heavily into health to survive this Dugtrio Hidden Power Bug, which limits its set flexibility quite a lot. This vulnerability to Dugtrio is the biggest detriment to the Grass Psychic typing for Celebi, but that ×4 weakness to Bug allows Celebi to be specifically targeted and exploited by certain things. Tyranitar will commonly run Hidden Power Bug, which not only hits Celebi, but Starmie and Claydol for super effective damage. This is a big concern. If not for this ×4 weakness, Celebi could be a secondary line of defense against a Tyranitar. It's not super solid, but the Hidden Power Bug would deal significantly less, and Giga Drain would heal some of your health back against the Tyranitar, but Hidden Power Bug gives Tyranitar a ×4 super effective option against Celebi, which isn't even that hard to justify using since it hits other useful targets in the metagame as well. A modern adaptation on Aerodactyl is to use Hidden Power Bug for a similar reason. It hits Celebi while also middle grounding Tyranitar, Claydol, and Starmie, making it a fine move to lock into in some situations. And this has the great benefit of denying Celebi from baton passing stats. A Choice Band boosted Aerodactyl can cleanly one-hit KO Celebi with Hidden Power Bug, so switching Aerodactyl in on Celebi is a nice line of defense against stat pass strategies. Psychic typing does provide the benefit of fighting resistance, but unfortunately the most common fighting type in the game is a Bug type, Heracross. So you may come in on their fighting type attack, but then they're threatening Megahorn against you. Fighting plus Ghost is a common coverage combination for certain fighting types too, so having a Ghost weakness is another detriment and an exploitable weak point. Snorlax can also take advantage of your Ghost weakness thanks to its Shadow Ball. Without that Ghost weakness, you would be way more solid against Snorlax. The biggest benefit to Psychic typing is just having Stab Psychic available to you, which hits Gengar super effectively. That's pretty worthwhile. If you invest in some speed, you can also outrun Heracross and threaten it with Psychic, and some other fighting types like Hariyama and Machamp also don't love this. Psychic typing also offers a Psychic resistance, which can help you against enemy Celebi and enemy Jirachi sets. But overall, the pros do not outweigh the cons here, and Psychic typing is actively detrimental to Celebi in this metagame. I kind of like this though. I think it's good that there is this clear and easy way to punish Celebi. It's nice to have that option available, especially off the back of Hidden Power, which just about everything can use. You'll see sets like Hidden Power Bug Hariyama to catch an incoming Celebi, and I think that that's healthy counterplay to a defensive piece and a versatile Pokemon that would be a little bit overwhelming without that weakness to exploit. Up next we have an icon of competitive Pokemon, Tyranitar. A Rock Dark typing does have its benefits. It's fantastic offensively, with Rock and Dark being really valuable stab types. But usually if you have a good offensive typing, you need to be fast to take advantage of that and hit things first, not needing a good defensive typing. But Tyranitar is really slow, and a lot of things can hit it first. So that's where the typing becomes a bit of a problem. Tyranitar is weak to water, grass, ground, bug, steel, and ×4 weak to fighting. And these are all really common and prominent attacking types. But the sheer quantity of Tyranitar's advantages in other areas can overcome this poor typing. The ability Sandstream is truly incredible, creating permanent sandstorm on the field in the earlier generations. Even the temporary sandstorm effect, post-nerf in Generation 6 onwards, has a lot of useful application. In Gen 3, Tyranitar is the #1 Pokemon in the entire game, mostly because of Sandstream, but also its fantastic Dragon Dance sets, its set variety overall with Pursuit as an option to eliminate Gengar and other ghost types. And in Gen 4, Tyranitar received a significant defensive buff that helped it overcome this typing even more moving forward. Rock types now gain a special defense boost in the sand, and Tyranitar creates sand already. So Tyranitar has a really high special defense stat, significantly enhancing its defensive capabilities. In Generation 4 and 5, Tyranitar can also overcome its poor defensive typing and the attackers that try to exploit it with the all-new introduced type berries, such as the Pasho Berry and the Truffle Berry. These berries are consumed and will halve the damage of an incoming super effective attack. Truffle Berry is the most common on Tyranitar to shield you from those fighting type attacks, but Pasho Berry is a solid choice as well for this. Dragon Dance also allows Tyranitar to overcome its low base speed, boost itself up, and take advantage of that fantastic offensive typing from there. And the utility provided by Pursuit, especially in Gen 5 against all of the powerful psychic types running around in that metagame, along with Tyranitar's incredible coverage options helping it snipe threats like Ferrothorn with Fire Blast or Gliscor with a surprise Ice Beam, give Tyranitar plenty of tools to be useful and overcome the weaknesses of its typing. And once again, like in the Celebi example, I think it's fantastic that such a powerful Pokemon has a clear weakness you can exploit. And there are multiple types that you can use to exploit Tyranitar. Grass Knot Alakazam has been used as a more accurate option that sidesteps the Truffle Berry that they commonly hold. And because of these type weaknesses, Tyranitar usually doesn't stick around for very long in battles. And the final example of a great Pokemon with terrible typing is of course Volcarona, one of the most infamous Pokemon in history. And Volcarona has the worst typing of any of the Pokemon here. Bug and Fire is ×4 weak to Rock, which is the worst weakness you can have in singles. Stealth Rock is an entry hazard that is absolutely everywhere. It's on just about every competitive team. And this hazard deals damage based on your weakness to Rock. Volcarona will take a whopping 50% of its health simply for switching it. It is rare for any ×4 Rock weak Pokemon to even be viable, but Volcarona is also weak to water, which sucks, and flying. But amazingly, Volcarona has been able to overcome these incredibly damning weaknesses due to its sheer offensive power. Volcarona has great offensive stats, and the move Quiver Dance, most crucially of all. This is one of the best moves in all of Pokemon. A boosting move that grants you +1 special attack, special defense, and speed. Off the power of this move alone, Volcarona can snowball to absurd levels and defeat entire teams with ease, as one of the most powerful boost sweepers in the entire franchise. Even in its debut generation with no mechanics to assist you against hazards besides Rapid Spin, Volcarona is an absolute menace. And Volcarona has benefited from many mechanical changes over the years. The introduction of Defog, an extra form of counterplay against hazards, Z-moves allowing it to nuke potential switch-ins and checks, Heavy Duty Boots allowing Volcarona to sidestep its rock weakness completely thanks to an immunity to hazards, and of course Terastallization. What better way to overcome a bad typing than to turn into a different type altogether? And Terastallization would be the final nail in the coffin that got Volcarona banned from OU for good. This really goes to show that Volcarona's typing was the one thing keeping it from being absolutely busted. At least it is hyper punished by the most common mechanic in the game in those older generations, but with the new newfound ability to sidestep not only that hazard, but the weaknesses of its typing overall, it became kind of an unstoppable force. I think typing can be an interesting trait of a Pokemon in terms of game balance. And sometimes a detrimental typing on a strong Pokemon can be important for the health of a metagame to give it some way to be targeted and punished. What is your favorite example of a great competitive Pokemon with terrible typing? Mine, unsurprisingly, is Tyranitar. Thank you for watching.